Ladies and gentlemen, from the New York Times, drone again hits a Moscow building housing Russian ministries. This was in the wee hours of the morning, but you know what? I got to admit, I don't care all that much because this is not the story you should pay attention to. This is the story you should pay attention to. Hey, why don't you read that, Ian?
We need, the subject says, a limited military draft. I just didn't want people to say that I'm the one saying that because I don't think we do. We need
Military.com. We need a limited military draft. We then have the Council on Foreign Relations, the uncertain future of the U.S. military's all-volunteer force from July 18th, 2023, which concludes that we're going to need a new Gates Commission to figure out how we deal with this. Joe Biden has called the ready reserves, the select reserves, to be deployed to Europe over what's going on in Ukraine, and this operation's been ongoing since 2014. Oliver Stone says he regrets voting for Biden because Biden's leading us into World War III. You've now got, and it's not just these two op-eds, more calls for a military draft. And you know what? The only thing I can say is I really look forward to seeing Harry Sisson on the front lines making TikTok videos.
Yeah.
Because they ain't drafting the 37-year-olds first.
Well, don't be so pie in the sky, man. If it hits the fan, we're all on the chopping block.
Yeah, I know. But what I'm saying is it'll be a good year or so before they draft a 37-year-old over the 20-year-old.
What pisses me off is that Biden gave that COVID vaccine mandate across the military and a bunch of people resigned or got kicked out. And now they're like trying to pull their pants back up because they crapped their diapers and like,
well, and they're naming,
they don't
but I will add to that too. And the insane woke policy stuff. There were a bunch of things the Biden administration and a million others had done, which decimated our numbers, forcing people to resign or just not want to enlist at all.
oh, what were you going to say, Tim?
what was that?
Did you have something you were about to say too?
Oh, well, I mean, you're not going to send me to the draft. I'll tell you that right now. I'm going to die before I go and
How
fight
old are you?
for. I'm 23, so I'm the prime age, right?
Well,
It's-
but you're not first in line.
yeah, not first in line.
You're a
but
few months out.
At the same time, it's interesting because they've purged all these, right-wing extremists from the military. They've really been focused on that. But those guys are the guys that are fit. Those guys are the guys that are
Allegedly-
willing to fight.
My friend Taylor. Okay, you're 23.
Yeah,
How tall are you?
I'm 6 foot,
You're 6 feet tall.
Yep.
How much do you weigh?
178.
178. And you work out.
A lot.
You lift.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you think they're going to choose one of these soy boys, little 5'5", weak noodle armed Antifa guys, or do you think they're going to be like, I'm
the prime candidate, but that's what I'm saying. I mean, you're not going to get me. You're not going to get me. Regardless of what you do, I will die defending my right not to go to war for the military-industrial complex, especially in Ukraine. I'll tell you that.
In 10 years, it's going to be, it won't much matter, like, the physical fitness of the person, because they're going to be piloting drones.
And wearing super soldier exoskeletons and stuff. Have you seen the
No,
exoskeletons?
you're not going to wear, they're not going to wear, why would you send a person in to
It's mostly
that?
for logistics.
Well, and think about think about
it's
the
all-
generations that have been raised on video games too. That's perfectly in sight with the technology that the U.S. military uses. That's literally what they're prepping you for, essentially. And granted, I love video games, but you're exposed to the violence for a reason. You're exposed to, doing drone strikes on people for a reason because, they're basically prepping and grooming this younger generation into accepting war.
I used to fantasize about fleeing to Canada, man. My dad was sucked into Vietnam, and it annihilated pretty much everything in his life, along with his cousin and God knows however many members of that generation. He'd always tell me about the horror of war in an unjust draft. And I knew, it was a dark fantasy of, what would I do? I'd have to flee. I'm not going to go die on some battlefield for some oligarch. I got too much to give to this earth.
You're gonna for Joe Biden?
No. I'll defend this country. I'm here. That's what the military is for.
The future of war is going to be those Boston Dynamics robots, the dogs. I mean,
Which is
Black
terrifying.
Mirror got it right. They've already mounted machine guns to those dogs. Those little robot dogs.
I think that in biological warfare, everybody talks about nukes this, nukes that. Why would you use nukes when you can use something that is essentially untraceable? I mean, you see with the COVID lab leak, that's the future.
It's not so much that, it's a nuclear weapon destroys the city.
Yep.
But we want the city. We want the city. We want the resources. We want the coal, the ore, the uranium, whatever.
We honestly want the civilians.
Bioweapon. And so
we want their civilians to be part of our country.
Wow.
Well, that's the thing is every
you get
head
the
is
DNA.
one.
You get the DNA of certain political leaders and their families, and you engineer bioweapons that only target them.
Yep.
And then the virus can infect tons of people and nothing happens, but then all of a sudden these particular individuals just...
Yeah, that was great that RFK actually mentioned that, although he did get taken out of context, but genetically engineered bioweapons that take out certain types of human.
Didn't they say that he was
terrifying.
being an anti-Semite because of that clip?
Yeah.
Is that the clip that they tried to accuse him
They
of
were
that
like,
of?
quick,
So
he
ridiculous.
made a noise. amplify it back at him.
He told the truth. Oh,
He made a noise. Yeah.
You think that humans are not going to get, like, it's not going to be as human on human warfare on this? It'll
Why-
be
why
like
would it
from
be?
above by robots, and like we'll just be watching.
Yeah, I think sending in a wave of those Boston Dynamics robots is, look, a nuclear weapon will destroy the city. But we want to own the city. We want their resources and we want to subjugate them. It may just be easier to unleash a virus that targets a specific genetic profile.
Yep.
Because sure, you might want the civilians, but if you want to win the war, just erase the country.
Well,
and just like that.
even if you go down like the physical, human on human kinetic route, you're going to end with robots and all these things, right?
But
There's going to be humans thrown in the meat grinder.
Yeah, it's not going to be robots on robots.
No.
It's going to be robots slaughtering humans.
Yep.
It's going to be machines.
Well, and not just that, it won't be just
run by
machines.
humans,
Yeah.
slaughtering other
Or run
humans.
by
Yeah,
AI.
there's no reason to wear an exosuit.
Did you ever see that short film about drone warfare? It was just like 10 minutes about a guy giving a TED talk about a drone war
Yeah.
or something like that. And like it's people running from building to building, trying to dodge these flying drones with machine guns that are killing anything that moves.
Yep. Well, you've seen the videos out of Ukraine and Russia. I mean, the
They're-
drone warfare.
Have
there
you
is
looked at? Have you
brutal.
seen any drone
Yeah,
footage?
I've seen
It's
a
like
little bit on
disgusting.
Twitter.
It's
They're
scary.
small. They're not big.
You can't even see them a lot of the time, let alone hear them.
flying bombs.
Yeah.
Targeting your GPS coordinates.
You see dudes just like this, like
Begging.
begging not to drop the bomb, and they just drop it.
And then
see ya.
there's that one video they released where there's a guy cowering in a foxhole.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then the drone is pointing down, and you see the bomb just fall.
Yeah,
and
right
then
in there.
boom, and then the guy starts groaning and like
Tries to
struggling.
start moving again. Yeah, well, and those videos are, I mean, they're everywhere.
I'm glad they're
too.
everywhere.
They are everywhere, but it shows the realities of war. And then
Yeah.
there was that one video of the Ukrainians, I think it was like their trans Tifa force or whatever, in that minefield, and they all got their legs blown
Yeah, they
off.
all-
that one
There's a
time-
video of
The
this.
guy
It's
jumps
it
off
was-
the back of the truck and he's just ready to land and kneel, and he lands on the thing.
Well, and then
on
they
the
go and
landmine.
try and help their friends, that are down, and then they hit it the same thing too. They hit another mine. I mean, and the end of it, they all end up having, they're missing limbs.
Dude, the guy lands on the landmine, he gets his legs blown apart, and he immediately starts tourniqueting himself. Like, it's just horrific.
yeah.
Well, and that's the thing is, I think the realities of war need to be broadcasted, but there's a reason why they aren't. Any regular person sees any of these videos, it's going to disgust them because, frankly, war is the most evil and disgusting thing that you can do on this entire planet. I mean, humans killing each other for what? For the idea that their leaders are right and that the international conflict is justified. I don't think any international conflict is justified. I mean, when you have people murdering each other, because that's exactly what this is, I don't see how anyone can say, oh, yeah, I'm going for Ukraine or I'm going for Russia. No, both sides are at fault. They're both murdering people.
I understand resource grabs. Like, it's not good, but if one country doesn't have enough food and the other one has more than enough, and then they're like coming and
Yeah,
invading
but
to take the food.
trade works way better than war.
It does. But then you need a common language. You don't need one, but it sure helps. You need a common culture in order to keep sustained trade. you don't need it.
History,
but man,
you've
does it
had
help.
there's been cultures that were very different, have managed to trade with each other and remain very different cultures and still live peacefully side by side with each other.
Simply put it, we
have to be the same
don't
culture.
have to keep killing.
This
Yeah.
Russian thing is about a port. It's a land grab because they want a trade route, and you can't buy a trade route. I mean, they technically could buy the land off Ukraine for 700 trillion or whatever the value over the next 80 years.
Yeah,
would
they
be
need
of
access to
the
that
Donbass.
seaport right
Yeah,
there,
they
so
need
they can
East
stop
105,
transporting it over land.
that freeway down to Crimea, and I don't know if there's they could buy it. You could sell it to them, but at this point, it's just rubble. I mean, I don't know. Do you know much about what's going on? Is the Donbass just leveled? Is it just a mud field?
I mean, a lot of things are just completely leveled over there. It is seriously. There's a reason why there's so many videos out there in these, especially Telegram. Telegram is the biggest distributor of these videos. That's where you really see the uncensored stuff. You put it on Twitter, and even it gets censored even on Twitter because you're not supposed to see these things. I mean, it's brutal. It's the realities of life and the realities of following these dictators' orders. I mean, and I don't agree with Putin doing the land grab. I don't agree with Zelensky casting out Catholics and Christians. I don't agree with any of this. I think everybody's in the wrong. There's better ways to go about, trade deals, right? It's the perfect example. You don't have to kill each other. Just come to an agreement, come to a price, and give each other something that benefits both of you. That's the reality of how the world is supposed to work, but instead they'd rather just murder each other because that's where the money's at. And it's sad. I mean, it's truly heartbreaking, especially I have a lot of friends that have come back from Iraq and these other war-torn countries, and they went there thinking they were bringing democracy to these people. And then they get there, they are told to dehumanize these people. They kill these people, and then they realize, oh, these people don't want democracy. They're literally openly saying they don't want democracy. This is a different culture. And then the guys come back. The VA doesn't take care of them. It's the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. They swap them providers. And then these veterans kill themselves because they have to deal with the fact that they were sent over to murder people under the guise of restoring democracy.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.